Hello everyone, welcome back to part 2 of our backend development full course. In the last video we talked about the basics of backend development, how the frontend and backend work together, and we even built a simple Express server. But that was just the beginning. Today we are going to take things to the next level. Today we'll connect our Express server to a real database using MongoDB Atlas. Sounds exciting, right? So let's dive in. So there are mainly two types of databases. One is relational and another is non-relational. In our course, we'll learn about MongoDB, and it's a non-relational database. So how will we use the database? So basically the database is hosted in a remote server or cloud that is known as the Mongo Atlas. We'll simply create an account in Mongo Atlas and we will be provided with a connection string. We'll just put that in our backend code and our database and the backend server will be connected. And one thing you will notice that in this course, we will not use any high configuration server like this. You will notice that we are writing the server or the backend code in our own machine. So that means our laptop or our PC that is working as a server or a local server. So after the development is finished, then the server is then deployed or uploaded in any remote server. We buy some domains. Then the server become available or accessible through the internet. And another thing, there is no real front end in this course, but in the latter part of the course, we will make a full stack application where there will be a full backend and a full front end. We will implement the whole MERN stack. So follow along with me. As till now there is no real front end, we will use a tool named Insomnia for testing our backend or server APIs. In the last part of the video, we made API routes like /API/products, and we are testing them by our browser. So we can test them by our browser too, but in some cases, like in our browser, we were only able to see or we were only able to get the products or get the data. But not only we need to get the data, sometimes we need to post something, sometimes we need to update something, and sometimes we need to delete something. So for that reason, there is a tool named Insomnia. We will use it in our course, but there are many alternatives of Insomnia like Thunder Client, that is a VS Code extension. Thunder Client. Also a very popular tool known as Postman. So you can use any of them. All of them does the same work. So without further ado, let us start with our today's topics. Firstly, create an empty folder. Name these as Connect Mongo. Now we want to open this folder with VS Code. So you can open it with terminal or click this folder or move inside this folder, then click here and write cmd. A command prompt will pop up. Then write code space dot to open this with VS Code. Press enter. You can see this is opened with the VS Code. And while following along with this course, to make your experience more smooth, you can install some VS Code extensions like I am using this one, ES7 JavaScript Node Mongoose MongoDB MySQL snippets. So if you are using this, then you will get auto-completed snippets for Mongoose and MongoDB. There is another extension also, Node snippets, almost 800k downloads you can see. So this is also a quite good extension for smoother experience with your backend development journey. And to install any extension, just search here the extension you need to install, like Node snippets. Then it will appear here and an install button will appear. Just click on that, install, and it will be automatically installed and configured for you. So if you are done with all of that, let us start with creating a demo server for our today's project. So firstly, open terminal, go here, click on terminal, then new terminal. and you will see a terminal will appear in the directory of our project. Now let us initialize a Node.js project within this directory. So for that we have to write npm init for initialize -y. -y means yes to all. Then press enter. Now you can see a package.json folder has been created, and this folder contains all the necessary information about our project. Now as we want to create a server using the Express framework, so for that reason we have to install Express. You can directly install like npm install Express, or you can go to their website. You have to search npm. We'll go to the website of npm, and this contains all the necessary dependencies that we will use throughout our project, including Express and other packages. So search for Express, search, click on the first one. Here you can see the procedure to install Express is given here. You can simply copy that and go to your terminal and paste it, Ctrl+V, then press enter. And as you can see, a node modules folder has been created. This folder contains all the necessary dependencies that you will install and those that are needed for this project. And another file that has been created, that is packagelog.json. It contains all the necessary information about our project environment. You don't need to bother about all of those, because I will not try to fill your brain with so many unknown terms by explaining every detail, because you can figure out those yourselves later. Now I only want you to understand how the things work and understand the concepts, because that's what that matters. And if you go to the package.json file, you will see a dependency object, and this dependencies object, this contains all the necessary dependencies that we will install further or that we have installed in our current project. So as just now we installed Express, so for that reason we can see Express here, and the version that has been installed 4.1.2. If we go back to the website, it also shows the latest version 4.21.2. So the information about the version and the dependency name, that will be within this object. Now after we have finished installing Express, let us create our boilerplate. So you can see here a demo code or a boilerplate snippet has been provided to get started with creating the server. You can simply copy this and go to your VS Code and create a file. So what file will you create? You can see here the main entry point that is selected as index.js. So that is the main entry point of our server. So first time when someone wants to access the server, he will firstly hit the index.js file, and the index.js file will later take decision to where send the user or the person who requested to the server. So as a convention, we create the file as index.js, but we can also create the file by giving some other names also. It's everyone's personal preference. So we are creating index. Oh, sorry. So index.js, click the file and copy the code that you just copied from the npm package website. Here, this code. One thing you will notice that in the previous part we imported Express like this, import Express from Express. So what is the difference between these two? The first one, this is known as ES6 type import, and the second one, that is known as the module import. The first one, that is more preferred or being used in the modern applications, but you can use any of them. So as of now, let us comment out this line, and to start the server we have to simply write node and then the file name or the entry point of our project. So node index Backend.js, and the server has been started, but we cannot see anything because we haven't provided any callback function or anything that can assure us that the server has been started. So in the listen method, app.listen, you can also provide a callback function. Give the comma after the port. We are listening on port 3000, so give a callback function, and you can log a simple message like server running on port 3000. Or you can do this dynamically, right? Like you can define the port here, const port equal to 3000, then pass the port here, port, and you can convert this into template string and write the port dynamically here. Now press Ctrl C to close the server, then again node index.js. Now you can see server is running on port 3000. Now you can also check this, like go to your browser and write localhost 3000, and you can see hello world. Why in localhost 3000? Because we have written in the home route we'll see hello world. You can create another route here like app.get /test, and you can write here node. Now if you go to your browser again and click /test and press enter, oops, it didn't work. Why? Because we have made some changes in our code, or we have modified something. So for that reason we have to close the server again, press Ctrl C, and again run the server node index.js. Now go to your server and write /test localhost 3000 /test and refresh. Now you can see hello node. Now do you remember what we did to actually minimize this hassle, like restarting the server again and again? Yes, you are correct. We installed nodemon for this reason. Now press Ctrl C again. Now we will install nodemon. If you don't remember how to install nodemon, you can go to the npm website and you can search here nodemon. Click on nodemon. So you can install nodemon globally, and also you can install nodemon as a development dependency. So what is a development dependency? A development dependency is this will be only installed to your development environment, and this will not go to the production, or when you deploy your server to some cloud or you will host it somewhere else, then this nodemon will not go there, because in a deployed environment you don't modify your code so frequently. You only need this for your development environment. So copy this, go to your terminal, test this and press enter, and this is installed successfully. Now if you click on package.json, you can see the nodemon has been installed as dev dependencies. So this is only installed in our development environment, and Express was installed as a main dependency. So now let us modify our code a little bit more. Create another route, test, like let's create a bigger route, /API /message, and right here hello nodemon. Oh, we didn't start our server, so let us start now. As we have installed nodemon, so we will not start our server using node index.js, rather we'll start using nodemon index.js. Press enter. Now if we change anything like hello nodemon, how are you? Now if you press Ctrl S to save this file, Ctrl S, you can see the server is started automatically. So now every time you save changes, the server will start automatically. Now you can go to the browser and search /localhost 3000 /API /message. Oh, what was the name? I forgot. /API /message. Now press enter. You can see hello node1, how are you? So that's how the API routes work, and that's how we use node1 to actually remove the hassle of manually starting the server again and again. Now, as I have told that node1 only works on the development environment. That means when you deploy the server will start using node index.js or whatever the entry point of the file you have named. So for that reason, we do one thing, that is we write our custom script. Here you can see there are some scripts written here. You can remove this. So we'll write two scripts, like for starting our server, we say node index.js. So in the production environment, we can start our server using this start, and for development we will write dev here, and the script will be node-mon index.js. So in the production environment, we'll start the server using node, and in the development environment, we'll start using node-mon. And it is a convention actually to write dev here. You can write whatever you want. Like if you write meow dev, then you can also start your server using this command, like npm run meow dev. You can see the server is started. So for running any script, we use npm run before the script. Like if you want to start it in the production environment, then npm run start, as the name suggests, start here. Now press enter. Now you can see that the previous one was started using node-mon, but now this time it's only started using node. That's how we start the server in production and development environment. So as for now, we keep it as dev and save the file, and let us start the server using dev, npm run dev. So the server is started. Now let us go to the index.js file. Now we'll connect to our database. So for that reason, as we want to use MongoDB as our database, so go to the website of MongoDB Atlas, search MongoDB Atlas, click on the first link, click on try free. Now you will be asked to sign up. You can sign up with your credentials, or I will simply go with Google. Select your account, continue. Accept their agreement, click on submit. A warm welcome message from MongoDB. Okay, now you'll be asked some questions. Select those accordingly, like what is your primary goal. You can select learn MongoDB. How long have you been developing software with MongoDB? Click here according to your experience. What programming languages are you primarily building on MongoDB with? As we are using Node.js, so click on JavaScript or Node.js. What types of data will your project use? You can select not sure or none. Will your application include any of the following architectural models? You can also select not sure or none for this. Just click on finish. Now you will have to edit the configuration. We will be using the free tier for this. You can select the name of the cluster. I will keep it as it is. Then obviously as provider we will use AWS. Then select the closest region here from your location. I will keep as it is. Then there are some optional tags. I will leave them empty. Now click on create deployment. Now you will be provided with a username and a password. I will suggest you to save those for later uses. You can copy the password and Let me go to the project file, create a demo file like create.txt, and go and copy the username and password. And paste it here. Then click on create database user. Now you have to click on choose a connection method. So before connecting, we need to configure our network also. So close this, go to network access. You will see here your IP address. That means the database can be accessed only from your IP address and it cannot be accessed from any other IP addresses. But you know, for bigger projects, many people work on a same project and they don't always work in the same place. Like sometimes they work from home or sometimes they go to the coffee shop or work there. So for that reason, we'll add a global IP. That means we'll allow the access from anywhere of the world. So just click on allow access from anywhere and you can see this IP is automatically selected. Now your database can be accessed from anywhere, no matter where you are working from. Now click on confirm. So this has been included in your network access. That means from anywhere you can access your database. The status is pending. Within a minute or two it will be active. So that was all about the configuration. Now click on clusters and click on connect. Now we'll be connecting through the MongoDB's native drivers. So click on drivers and you will be provided with a connection string. Through this string we will be able to connect with the database. You can connect this through MongoDB itself, but we'll be using a package or an ODM, a popular ODM that is known as Mongoose. So search Mongoose on the npm packages, click on the first one, copy the installation script, go to your terminal, stop the server for now, paste it, so we have installed Mongoose. Now we will remove this two from here. And as I told you before that we will be using the ES6 import syntax. So for that reason, uncomment this line and you can remove this from here. Now let us start the server, npm run dev. So you will see an error here, that is to load an ES module, set type module in the package.json. We saw this in the previous part of the video also, that we have to set the type module for importing like this, import something from something. So just follow what they are telling us to do. So we have to just set type is module in the package.json. You can simply copy this, go to package.json and paste it here and give a comma, save it, and you can see after saving it the server is started automatically and now there is no errors. So close this. Now to connect with our database we have to import Mongoose firstly. So as we are using the ES6 import syntax, so we will copy this one, then paste it above. Now I can go to the site and you can see they have given the system to connect to a database. That is, you have to simply write mongoose.connect, then you have to put the connection string there and then dot then to handle the resolved state of the promise. Like if MongoDB is connected successfully, then this message will be shown. Let us do it ourselves. So right here mongoose.connect, then here we'll provide the connection string, dot then we'll give a callback function that will simply log the connection status. Let us write MongoDB connected successfully, then dot catch, we'll receive an error and let us log that error. Now to format this long line of code, you can press Alt or Shift F, then it will be nicely indented. So you can use extension like prettier for this. You can use this for formatting the code, or there is a default formatter for VS Code. You can also use that. Just press Alt or Shift and F. Now inside the quotes, we have to provide the connection string. So let us go to the MongoDB Atlas again, and we will copy this string. If you have forgotten from where we came here, you will simply click on clusters and then the connect button. Click on connect, then click on drivers, and then you will be given the string here. So copy this, go to your editor, then paste it here. Now you can see the username with which the user was created. You can also see where you had saved that, and there is another part like db password. So you have to replace this with the password that you copied earlier. So copy it here, then put the password here. So now if you save the file, you will see that MongoDB connected successfully. So you are seeing this message. Now as we have successfully connected to the database, so let us create some data. We will post them on database and we'll do some operations on them, like the CRUD operations. What does CRUD mean? Create, read, update, and delete. So in our today's video, we will see all of the 4 operations. So what kind of data we are going to store on the database? So for this part, we will create a database for an e-commerce store. Let us name the database store db. So this is the name of our database. Let us assume that this is our database, and in the database there will be some data. So what kinds of data will be there? There will be some products data, some users data, and other kinds of data. Let us firstly create the collection for products. So in MongoDB, all these are called collections, like products collection, user collection. So there is a database, and in database there are collections. So all the types of fields or tables that you are going to store on your database are called collections in MongoDB, like users collection or products collection. So let us create the product collection first. In the product collection, what kinds of data we are going to store? So collection is an array. That array contains a huge chunk of data or objects. Like this is the data of one product, this is another. So like this, there can be thousands and millions of products inside the product array or product collection. And what kinds of data will be inside the object? Like the name of the product, the price, and let's say category. Now you have to mention somewhere that the products of our product collection will contain these 3 properties. These 3 properties, or these 3 things, or it may be a lot of properties for some other collections. The types of data that we're going to store in the product collection, this is known as a model. So this model is created using the Mongoose. And that's why Mongoose is called ODM. And ODM means object, document, mapping. So here Mongoose will be working as a mapper for the objects that will be stored inside the product collection. So now let us see some practical examples, then the concept will be more clear to you. So what will be the name of our database? That is store db. You can name it whatever you want, and you can put the name here after .mongodb.net / you can put the name of the database, and this database will be created automatically, like store db. If you press save, Ctrl S, this name will be created as the name of your database automatically. So we'll see that in a while. Now firstly, let us create the product model for our database. So for that, we have to firstly create the schema. Const product schema equal to new mongoose dot schema. Now we have to provide the fields that we are going to store inside the product object. So there will be firstly a name. The type of the name will be string. Then the price, that will be of type number. Then category, that will be of type string. So this is known as schema. So what is a schema? A schema defines the structure of documents in a MongoDB collection, and while a model provides an interface to interact with that collection. Now let us create the model. Const product equal to mongoose dot model. Let me zoom a little bit for you. So mongoose dot model product. So this thing inside the string or inside the quotation, this will be the name of the collection, and this name, we will use this to actually interact with the collection in our code. And this product that we are going to provide inside the quotation, this will be the name of our collection. But after some time, you will see that we will go to our collection, and this thing, without being named as product, it will be named as products, because the MongoDB automatically converts the model name to its plural form. And why we are not writing the plural form here? Because it is a convention. We write it like this here. Now the model, it generally accepts two parameters. Firstly, the name of the collection that we have already provided. Then we have to provide the schema. So this product schema that we created, we'll simply provide it here, and our product model is ready. Now if you save here, firstly press Ctrl J or Command J if you are using Mac, and see if the server is running. Then go to Mongo Atlas, then go to browse collections, and you will see a database is created here named stored db that we provided here inside the connection string. Here stored db, and also the model or the collection name that we provided product, it is automatically named as products or its plural form here. Now as the database is created and also the collection is also created, we will create some real data, and let us see how to do that. But before that, we have to install some API testing tool that I showed you before, that is Insomnia. You can also use Postman. So why we have to use that? I told you earlier that we in the browser only we can get the data from the database or from the server, but when we will try to post the data to the database, or when we will try to update or delete some data, that we cannot do from the website. So for that reason, we have to use some third-party softwares. So for testing our APIs, we will be using Insomnia. So let us install this first, then we will create our API routes. So go to the browser, search for Insomnia API test, then click on download here, then simply click download Insomnia for Windows. After that, you will be asked to create an account and then verify your account using the authentication process. You have to just follow along with it. I think you will be able to install this. And if you get stuck anywhere, you can search it on YouTube. There are a lot of tutorials there. You can see those and install Insomnia. So after you have installed Insomnia, search for Insomnia on your computer. As my session has expired, I have to re-authenticate, so I will click on continue with Google, then it will take me to the browser. Then you have to provide your credentials and you will be able to enter. Now click on new collection, name it products collection. Now we will create a simple HTTP request. Here you have to put the URL If you go here, you will see that it was running on port 3000. So for that reason, write HTTP. Don't give AS here as we are not using the HTTPS protocol. / local host 3000. So firstly, we want to save some data to our database. So for that reason, what would be the method? Yes, that will be post method. What does post do? It saves some data to the database. From where? It takes some data from the front-end side. Like we know in the front-end there are some HTML forms. In those forms we input some data, then those data goes to the server, and the server interacts with the database. Here it connects to the database, then it sends the data that it received from the front-end to the database. And through Insomnia we can mimic the clients. That means we can send some data from here. So where we will send the data? We will send inside body. So select JSON. We will send the data in JSON format. Create an object here. So what were the parameters or the fields that our product's schema was receiving? A name, a price, and a category. The name was string, the price was number, and the category was also string. So let us create a demo product. Firstly, name. Let's name it iPhone 15. Then price 500. And if you look, I have not given any quotation here because it was a number. It was not any string. Then it was category. Let's say mobile. Now we can click on send, but we haven't yet created the API route which will handle this post request. So for that reason, we have to first create that API route. So let's create the API route here. App dot, in this case, as we are posting something or we are writing some data to the database, so for that reason the method will be post, and give the API route /API /products. So in this route we are doing the post method, then a callback function that receives a request and a response as its parameters. Now we will write the logic by which we can save the data that we are getting from the front end or our API tester, in this case Insomnia, that is acting as a client or front end. Then we will save it to the database. Now I will request your proper attention at this place because this is a very important concept. So you will see request and response. Who does the request? Obviously the front end. And who sends the response? Obviously that is the backend. That means the front end, in this case our API tester Insomnia, we are doing request, and with request we are sending some data that, hey server, I am requesting you that please save this data in our database. And you can see the data is inside body. In the body of the request the data is there. So firstly we have to retrieve the data. Const product equal to request dot body. Now if you log this product object, you will see the data that we are sending from the front end. So firstly correct the API route here, that was /API /product or products /products. So /API /products. Now before clicking on send we have to start the server. So npm run dev. We have started the server, and as we are logging the product we will see that here, because all the logs like server is running on port or MongoDB connected successfully, all the logs we can see in our terminal. So for that reason also we will be able to see this log here. Now let us click on send. Okay, we are getting undefined because as we are sending a JSON data from our client, so we must have to parse that before doing something with the data. So for that reason we have to now use a middleware. So what is a middleware? A middleware is something that runs in the middle of the code. So that is the simple definition. In the latter part, we will dive deep into middlewares and we will see different kinds of middlewares are there in Node.js. So for this case, we have to use a middleware to parse the JSON. So simply app.use express.json. So this will run before going to any API methods. Now if I click on send from here, you can see the data that we sent from the Insomnia. We can see it here in our terminal, and the request is stuck in a loop because from here, from the backend, we are not sending anything. So for that reason, Insomnia has become confused that why we are not getting any response. So now after getting the data, what will we do? So after getting the data, firstly we have to create a new document using the data that we have received from the request. So let us create a new document, const new product equal to new product. Then we have to pass this product. This, to avoid confusion, let me directly put this request.body inside this and remove this line. So what we are doing here, we are creating a document that is of type product. And what is product? Product is this model which represent this schema, this product schema. That means it is ensuring that from the client what we are sending inside the request.body, this must have to be of this type. That means the name must have to be string and price must have to be number and the category is string. So we are creating a document of the type product. Then after we have created this document, we will simply save this in our database. So how to save? Simply new product.save. So it was that easy. And the code is very much readable. You can understand by just reading the code. But this takes some time because the database is in some cloud, in some other continent. So the data have to go there, then it have to be saved in the database or in the cloud. So it takes some time. So for that, we have to give await here. That means we have to wait for this to complete the operation. And if you put await before any line, then it will give an error. It says that await expressions are only allowed within async functions. That means we have to convert this callback function into an asynchronous function. For that reason, simply just put async in front of the function. Now after we have saved the product, let us send a response back to the client that the product has been saved successfully. So response.send product added successfully. Now let us go to Insomnia, and if we click on send, you can see product added successfully. Now if you go to MongoDB Atlas and click on browse collections, then click on the database that you created, store DB, and then click on products, and bingo, you can see the product that you just created. And here you can see an extra field, that is an ID. Where did this ID came from? So in MongoDB, when you save any data or any object inside any collection, then a random ID is generated and it is assigned to that object, because for some operations we have to uniquely identify any object or any product. So for that reason, every object must have to have any unique identification number or any unique ID, and in our case MongoDB handles this by itself. Now let us create some other products. Samsung, price let's say 400, then send. Product added successfully. And another thing, that is, after adding a product, we may need the informations or the ID of the product to do some other operations in the client side or in the front end side. So for that reason, what it is practiced to do, that is, after you save the product, you send the new product back to the client. And we don't send it as plain text, we send it as JSON. Now click on save and go to Postman. Let's create another product, name it Oppo, price 300, then click on send. So now you can see you have got the response back from the server of the product that is created just now. So we have got all the informations, and with that extra we have got the ID. Now you can use this ID in your client side for doing some other operations. So that was all about the post method. Now let us create a get method for reading the products. So that is pretty much simple. App.get slash API slash products. So the route is same. Okay, previously the route was app slash API slash products. In this case also same, but what is different, that is the method. Previously it was post method, but now it is get method. So in the same route, if you give a get request, then this route will be invoked, and on the same route, if you put a post request, then this route or this function will be invoked. Now let us put a callback function. Obviously it will be asynchronous again, because there are some database operations. Request response are received as parameter of the function. Then we have to find the products from the database. So for that reason, const products equal to await product dot find. And what is this product? This is this model. So now you can see why we created the model, because the model was created to interact with the MongoDB collection, or to interact with product collection. Like this, if we want to interact with some other collection, like if we create user collection later on, then there will be an user model, and by using that model we will be able to interact with the user collection of our MongoDB database, or for this case this stored database. And this product or this model has several methods. Like if you click here, product dot, here you can see you can find by ID. That means you can find a unique product, find one, you can find one product based on some conditions, then you can create product, then you can find all the products. And here are some other methods also, like delete many, delete one, you can delete one single product. Then find by ID and delete, find by ID and update. So this model gives you the flexibility to interact with the collection of the database. Now as we have got the products data, we will send it to the front end side. So simply response.json, then products. What is this products? This is this products that we found from our product collection from the database. Now save this, go to Insomnia, then create a new HTTP request, then put the URL here. But this time this is get method. Previously it was post method, this is get method. Click on send. Now you can see all the three products that you added just a few times. And here also you can rename this. Like here you can name this as add product. Then here you can rename this as get products. Now sometimes we need a single product, like you have gone to, let's say, Amazon. Let's search mobile. Then if you click on here, then it will take you a page where you are seeing a single product. That means when the user visits a page that is showing a single product, in that page a single product is fetched from the database. So let us do that here. Let us create a new request for getting a single product. Name this as get a product. So previously it was get products, now it is get a product. Then paste the URL here. Now we will create the API route for getting a single product. So app.get slash API slash products, but in this case there will be an extra section, that is slash ID. So this thing, this extra thing, it will be provided from the client side, that which product that I want to get from the database. You will understand it in a while. So write the callback function here, async, then request response. Now this ID, this is a variable, you can name it anything, like you can name it product ID also. Then inside here const product, that means the single product, that is equal to await product. Here I am asking the model to interact with the DB and find by ID. Then we have to provide the ID. So where this ID comes from? So obviously it will come from the request, but inside request where it is present. In case of JSON data, we are sending from the client side or the front end, or in our case the Insomnia API tester, we are seeing that was inside body of request. But in case of any parameters or any ID like this, it will be inside params because it is a URL parameter. Okay, so for that reason here we have to provide request dot params dot this name, product ID, product ID. Now you have found the product. Now you can send it to the client. So response.json, then the product you have got. So save this, go to your client. Now give the correct URL /API/products and / you have to provide an ID of the product that you are willing to get. So let us copy an ID here. Firstly refresh this. So you can see all the 3 products that you just created, and copy any ID of your choice here. So I am copying the ID of Samsung here. So copy it. Then after products, after the / give the ID here. Then simply click on send. You can see you can get Samsung. So like this you can get a single product from the database using the URL parameter. Okay, now if somebody provided any wrong ID here, like here without 67 we gave 68. Now if you press send, you will get now, but the client would not understand anything by seeing this now. So there must be a meaningful message if there is no product of that ID present in the database. So we can give a check here, that is if no product. That means if no product is found from the database, then we will send response.json. Let's say we will send a message that is no product found. Now save this and go to Insomnia and now click on send. You will see the message that no product found. Now the front-end developer or the client, he will understand that what happened in the backend side. So that's how in the professional server codes the logics are handled. Now we are left with only update and delete. So we completed the C and R of CRUD. So C completed, R completed. Now let us see. Firstly let us see delete, then we will see the update. So for delete, the method will be app.delete. Then we have to provide the URL path or the API path /API/products/. In this case also you have to provide an ID, or in this case let's say product ID, or you can name it whatever you want here. So why we need ID? Because we don't always delete a bulk amount of products. Most of the time, or 90% of the case, we delete a single product from the database. So for that reason, which product I have to delete, that will be determined by the ID that is being sent from the client side with the request. So give the callback function here, async request response are received as the parameter. Now how to delete? Simply await. Why await? Because it takes some time to complete the operation with the database of the cloud. Await product dot, there is a method that is find by ID and delete. Find by ID, you can get suggestion here. So find by ID and delete, then you have to provide the ID. So where we were getting the ID, that was inside request and params, and dot, in this case the name is product ID, so we have to provide it here, product ID. Now simply response.json, you can send a message product deleted successfully. So let us try this. Let's go to Insomnia, then create a new HTTP request, name this sorry, delete product, then it is a delete method. Provide the URL here, then provide the ID. So let's say, let us copy the iPhone one in this case. So if you copy this and provide it here, then this will delete the iPhone from the database. So select your method delete, obviously. Now click on send. Now you can see message product deleted successfully. Now if you go to get products and click on send, you will be provided with 2 products from the server because the product of iPhone is deleted just now. So that's how you delete something from the database. Now one thing that is remaining, that is update. So so for update there are 2 methods. One is put and another is patch. So you can use any of those. So I am using put. Then you have to give the API route /API/ products/ obviously you have to give the product ID here because you have to know which product is to be updated. Then async request response. You can simply use the method of updating like await product dot find. Here you can see find by ID and update. Then inside this you have to provide the ID request dot params dot product ID. And do you understand why I am writing product ID here? Because I have provided this name here. If you give here like simply ID, then you have to put here simply ID. Okay, so what you give here, you have to put it here also. Now you can send the response back, response.json. You can simply send a message like product updated successfully, but professionally what is maintained, that is you receive the product, that means const updated product. So what this find by ID and update method returns, that returns the updated product, and this is received here in the updated product variable. After updating the product, we will send it to the client, updated product. Now let us go to Insomnia, copy the URL, create a new request, HTTP request. Let's name it update product. Then put it here. Now we have to give the ID of the product that we are willing to update. Okay, so I did one mistake, that is we are updating the product but we are not giving the updated data. That means, let's say if we want to update the name here, then we have to provide the name from the front end side, that we are changing the name to iPhone, let's say 16. So from the front end, if you remember that we send the data through the request.body. Here in the post method you saw that we are sending the data in the request.body and then we are saving it to the database. So like this also, while updating we will receive some data inside body from the front end side. And what data we will be receiving? We will be receiving the data of the part of the document that is being updated, like in this case the name of the mobile, that is iPhone 15, that is being updated. So we have to provide the data here, request.body. So there are 2 things, that is one is the ID of the product that is being updated and the new data of the product. Okay, and another thing that is optional, that is you can pass an option here, that is new true. So what does this do? So if you provide new true here, then this method will return the updated product here, but if you don't provide this, then it would return the old one. Okay, so remember this. Now go to Insomnia and we have to select the method, in our case put, go to the database, firstly refresh it because we deleted something earlier. Now let us copy the ID of this Samsung one, then provide the ID here in the URL. Then inside the body we have to give the data. So let's say we want to update the price. So the price was previously 400. Now let's update it to, let's say, 600. So price is 600. Now if you send, we are getting the old one. Maybe I did some mistake. Okay, I didn't save the file, so save it. Now let's give it 700 and resend. Now it is working. The file is updated successfully, and if you go to the database and refresh it, you can see it is also updated here. So that was all about the CRUD methods: create, read, update and delete. So we completed all the methods in our today's lecture. Now I will show you some extra things that are industry standard or are practiced in real production level projects to optimize the codes or to reduce the server crash. Those are really very much necessary to implement in your code. Among them, the first one is try catch. When you are dealing with server or backend side, or you are dealing with data or sensitive data, then you must have to be cautious. It is obvious that when you are dealing with data, some errors will obviously occur. So you have to handle those errors. So how to handle those errors in JavaScript? Like if you have coded in JavaScript before, you know about try catch methods. So we have to wrap up our functions or controllers with the try catch. So you can select it, cut this, Control X, then write try catch. Then inside try, put the snippet that you cut. Press Alt Shift Tab to format the document. And inside catch, you can do two things, like you can log the error. If any error occurs, you must have to log the error. And another thing, that is you have to send something to the front end that an error has occurred, because the client must know that what is happening. Like if he has no idea of what is happening, then he will never use this software. So for this, response.json, then give a message. Then you can write a custom message, or you can simply pass the error.message. So like this, you have to wrap up everything with try catch. Cut it, try catch, then paste it here, and also copy it and paste it here. And for this also do the same thing, cut it, try catch, paste it here, and in the catch send the error to the front end. For this also cut this, try catch, then paste it inside try and send the error as the response. Finally, for update also you have to do it, but there is a good method of putting a snippet inside try catch. That is, you have to select the snippet that you are willing to put inside the try, then simply start writing try catch and press enter. You can see it is automatically put inside the try. Then for catch, copy it, paste it. So we are sending the error back to the client. So this is an industry standard method of writing the controllers inside try and catch. Okay, let me actually cut this, it is distracting too much. So another thing that we should follow, that is we should send the status. Like in Insomnia, we saw here that status was 200, that means okay. If we wrote any wrong URL here, like APE, then send, then you can see 404. So there are some status codes that actually define the status of our request, if it is successful or if it is unsuccessful, or any error occurs. If error, then what kind of error. Like if you don't find anything, 404 not found. Can you guess where we can implement this? We can implement this where we are fetching a single product. Here you can see, like, if no product of that ID is present, then we are sending no product found. But with this also we have to provide a status. So we can say response dot status, we can say 404. That means the product is not found. Like this, if the response is okay, like for this we are creating a product. So if a product is created successfully, so then we have to give the status of 200 or 201. Like this you can send the status, like if there is an error you can say res dot status then 400 for an error. So you can copy this and paste it in every error section. So these are some industry standards that are followed, and if you follow those, then your code will be much more readable. So this was all about today, and today we did all the codes in the same file. But if there are a lot of models and a lot of collections, then the file would be so much messy. So the right practice is to separate files for like routes, for the controllers, for the models and everything. So in the next part of the video, we'll see how to structure the routes, the controllers and models in separate folders. And we'll learn another thing, that is the connection string. It is a sensitive thing. Like if you push this code in GitHub, then this connection string will be publicly available and anybody can, or the bad hackers can exploit the database. So it is not a good practice to put the connection string here. So we have to store it somewhere that from where it won't be accessible to everyone publicly. We will learn about them also in the next video, and we will do some bigger projects in the later part of the course. So that was all for today. See you soon.